think, oh, once I get to this level, I'll stop feeling like an imposter. I'll stop feeling like a fraud, or I'll stop feeling like I'm not good enough to be here. But honestly, it just kept going. So that's the interesting part of it. And people are like, oh, when I get to this next level or get this next degree, I won't feel like an imposter. That's just a lie that you're telling yourself. You can stop feeling like an imposter now, but changing an external title or a degree is not going to stop it. But I've lived with imposter syndrome. I lived through burnout and exhaustion, and that's the point where I finally got therapy. I started addressing all of the issues because the imposter syndrome contributes to your exhaustion and burnout because you're mentally fighting yourself every day. And that's the mental exhaustion that a lot of women sometimes forget. They're just like, oh, I'll just go to sleep. I'm like, going to sleep does not help with your imposter syndrome or your anxiety or your overthinking. So it's a topic that I, have personally struggled with, and I have mostly overcome. And saying it's mostly because it's a journey. It's not like it's just over one day. It takes active, mindset shifts and daily mindset thinking to like not fall back into that and backslide. But I do love speaking about this topic and how it contributes to all aspects of your life, honestly.
It really does. And for those of people who may be listening, they'd be like, but yeah, I hear this term a lot, imposter syndrome. When I think of it, and I know that I have experienced this before, I feel as though, and this may or may not be the definition, but I feel as though it's this feeling that even though you know on paper you are qualified and you have everything that you are supposed to have, there is still some nagging concern or fear that you are just not good enough for, and it doesn't really have a label about why. It's just something there that tells you you're not good enough.
Yes. And that's what you keep. It's like, it's almost like you're proving that you're good enough, like, but you're only really proving it to yourself, although you're telling yourself you're proving it to other people. Like, oh, and that's why people go and do titles and extra stuff. Like, oh, once I get this, I will feel like I'm good enough. But they already know you're good enough. They've already hired you for this position. They've already given you this role to be in charge of this or do that. So they gave it to you because you know you're good enough, but you think you have to do more to prove you're good enough. And that is very exhausting.
It can be so exhausting. So I
Mm-hmm.
personally have experienced imposter
Mm-hmm.
syndrome. I do think I still experience it, quite frankly, even though I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing all this stuff. Like, people are like, oh, you have this podcast, you have this, you have that. But still, there is this sense or desire to be a perfectionist. You want to be the best. You want to be better
Mm-hmm.
than. You may have your eyes set on somebody else and be like, I want to be better than her, or I want to be better than
Mm-hmm.
this, or I want that. And so, because of all of those deficiencies that you may have, you feel like you're an imposter or you're just not good enough. And you're absolutely right. It can be exhausting. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't think people realize that it's not just a physical exhaustion, but it's also a mental exhaustion.
I love what you said there because I do think that perfectionism plays heavily into that. And I think as Black women, we have really high levels of perfectionism. I don't know if it's because, I mean, I was told this as well. So I don't know if we embody this as a child, but you have to like work twice as hard and be twice as good just to be seen as equal. So if you've been hearing that all your life, you are going to be raised a perfectionist. And then you're also going to have imposter syndrome because if you look at everyone around you, you're not even comparing yourself to them equally. You're comparing yourself to them like you have to be twice as good as them. And it's just like, it's pretty much unreasonable because we're all just humans. So, but I know that that's something that I had to tap into because I was like, how come I feel like I have to always do more and be more? I'm like, because I was told that as a child, and it's something that I've kept with me all my life. And that leads to perfectionism. And then because you're not perfect, because we're not robots, then you feel like an imposter.